This is your First Alert Weather Breakdown, a deep dive into how weather works with meteorologist Evan Thomason.
Hey, good morning to you. Meteorologist Evan Thomason here in the First Alert Weather Breakdown Center. Happy Thursday and welcome on. What an impressive day weather-wise. We'll get to it again. I'm meteorologist Evan Thomason. Do the morning show here at KSLA News 12 from 4:30 all the way until 7. Whenever you choose to wake up. If you wake up before then, I'm impressed. If you wake up after that, I don't blame you. So welcome on again to the First Alert Weather Breakdown. A big weather day here for the day today, obviously, from the cold temperatures to reports of snow flurries in the Arklatex as well. I had a video of that caught outside of our cameras here. And man, 2 days of consecutive snow flurries, honestly, here in areas around Shreveport. Texarkana had snow flurries yesterday, pretty much only. I don't think they caught up on the snow flurries here from the day today. But, man, it was quite, what's the word I'm looking for? Intriguing and yet unfortunate, honestly, because I wish I could capture the flurries on like air, you know what I mean? Talk about them, I did talk about them on air throughout the morning shows. I mean, the issue is I didn't have much evidence to prove that there were snow flurries out because, number one, none of the cameras were picking up on them. Number two, and most importantly, there was nothing shown on our radar that showed anything was happening. You couldn't decipher between a nice sunny day and snow flurry daylight or snow flurry morning like this morning, honestly. So it was quite the contradiction of ideals, honestly, and again, it just made it difficult for me to prove my point that there was plenty of snow flurries out. We got plenty of calls into the news station. We got all the social media posts out there as well. I hope you got some snow flurries. It'll been a cool treat. Nothing accumulated, and I think now it'll be pretty much gone. I think that was our last chance to get them, honestly, because we have a warming trend and for the next 7 days that we'll get to in our full forecast ahead. Let's go ahead and go over the rundown. We have a cold forecast for you in store, at least for today and tomorrow. But overall, we have a warming trend that we'll discuss further on in this 7-day forecast and full weather forecast as well. Now, beyond that, our exclusive content in for the day today is talking a little more about science. We're going into the science of some things. And we're going to essentially explain how wind works. How does it function? How does it happen in the first place? What determines in what direction it moves? How powerful can it be? Those types of questions will kind of all be answered in like a science explainer here for the day today. Before I get into the forecast, two things. Number one, as I always mention, but I always want to reiterate, YouTube is the platform for you to communicate with me. You can always go to our YouTube live stream. You just search up KSLA News 12 on YouTube.com. It should pull up this live stream right now. You can watch it. And most importantly, the reason why I mention it again is you can leave comments in that live stream that I can answer live on air. Pretty cool. If you don't want to do that, feel free to just sit back, relax, and enjoy the show on KSLA News KSLA.com and anywhere you're watching our live stream currently, Apple TV, Roku, anything like that, anything of that sort. Second thing I want to get to, last thing before we get into the forecast, there is no First Alert Weather Breakdown here for tomorrow. There will not be an episode, one of the rare times that we are unfortunately going to have to skip out on an episode here for tomorrow. Short answer, I have a meeting to attend to tomorrow. That unfortunately happens to lie right on this First Weather Breakdown podcast that I have to stay and attend to. So I will be back actually on Tuesday of next week. I know what you're thinking. Well, Evan, you usually do every single work week day. I am off work on Monday. Meteorologist CJ Cartledge will have you covered on the next Weather Breakdown podcast on Monday. I'm going to go into more detail on that in just a little bit. But essentially, no episode tomorrow. And then we'll have an episode back again on Monday, but it will be with CJ. I will be back on Tuesday of next week. All right. We'll go into that, kind of recapping the episode a little bit later. But now let's go into the full weather forecast. All right. So, live look. If I can get out my graphics. There we go. live look at our window world camera in Texarkana. There is one big change between yesterday and today. Can you guess what it is? I think it's pretty obvious on this webcam, honestly, and that is the sunshine is back out for the day today. Hopefully you're making the most of it, because actually we have cloud cover returning as soon as tomorrow. Well, we have one day of brief sunshine here for the day today, which is the biggest change in store. Yesterday, it was completely cloudy throughout the entire duration of yesterday here for your Wednesday, this previous Wednesday, that is. But now rolling in today, we worked in some sunshine. It was a little cloudy, I will say, for the southern half of the Arklatex to begin the morning, but most of the cloud cover is now rolled back now that we've gotten into the late morning hours. And speaking of that, we'll show you the camera along the Red River, along Bossier and Shreveport suburbs. The cloud cover has gotten slowly thinner and thinner by the hour. Again, early this morning, we were on the live stream around sunrise at around 7 a.m. It was a complete cloud deck. About an hour and a half ago, we had patchy, partly cloudy skies, and now it is just mostly sunny. And eventually, we're going to completely clear the clouds out again by later today in areas of Shreveport and Bossier. But for what to wear here for this morning, unfortunately, I did not even change that graphic. I will have to. But we don't have feels like temperatures in the single digits anymore, which thank goodness. But it is still cold out regardless. The sunshine's warmed us up just a smidge. A smidge. All right. Regardless, you still need everything you can get. Everything you can get to help yourself bundle up and stay warm out across the Arklatex here. Gloves, heavy coat, maybe a second, maybe a third, maybe a fourth. You get the point. A beanie. Protect those ears. Man, those are one of the first things that get cold in my body, personally. That and my nose make me become Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Besides that, some thick socks, scarves. What else can I think of? Hand warmers, maybe even, if you're that desperate. Which for this kind of a morning and this kind of a day, I don't blame you. To be quite frank with you. In fact, I'm actually going to go ahead and remove myself because I want to pinpoint one specialty item that's a little bit hidden by my face there. The boots. I brought out the winter boots. You can never underestimate the power of winter boots, which give you a little more insulation and actually a little more heat than just your typical sneakers. So, yeah, I'll have to probably wear that on my way around town here for errands this afternoon. But, yeah, pretty cool. Again, don't underestimate, again, the power of the boots. All right, moving on. Next thing, let's go into those current temperatures out right now. 25 in Shreveport, 22 in Texarkana, 19 in DeQueen, 26 in Natchitoches. Just so you know, most of us set record low temperatures this morning. So there was nowhere else to go, thankfully, but upward and increasing our temperatures in the afternoon. The sunshine's played a vital part of that, to be fair. But one thing that is suppressing our warm-up a little bit still, and it's continuing to give us a good wind chill, is the winds. Now, thankfully, it's not nearly as breezy as it was yesterday, but it's still up there. We still have winds into the double digits, mainly between 10 to 15 miles an hour between Texarkana and Mansfield, and that does include Carthage and Shreveport here at this hour. So the feels like temperatures, again, we started off this morning, just so you know, the minimum feels like temperatures, 5 in Shreveport is what we were down to early this morning. That was the minimum wind chill. Out the door, feeling like 5 degrees. Texarkana's minimum wind chill was 4. The coldest I ever saw on this map was -5, and that was in Idabel. -5. Impressive, to say the least. And again, this happened probably about 3-4 hours ago. Yeah, around 7 to 8 a.m., maybe towards 8, so maybe only 2 hours ago. The point is, it's starting to warm up, finally. But take that with a grain of salt, because it's warming up from bare bones to slightly above bare bones. We still have a feels like temperature again at 10:30 of 13 in Shreveport, 10 in Texarkana. So yes, we've warmed up. Meh. Point is, it's still bitter cold out. Let's get into the kind of the forecast of it all, besides just talking about currently what's been happening and what is happening. High pressure systems out to our west. That's driving in nice dry air. Let's clearing out the skies here for today to at least give us some sunshine. But, I mean, look at the circulation of the high pressure system. It's rotating clockwise. So what that means is it's rotating the winds around clockwise, which, speaking of the winds, we'll get to how that works a little more in depth in our exclusive content, which will be after this full weather forecast stay tuned. But with the direction of the flow of the high pressure system, it's rotating clockwise, which is essentially forcing the winds to behave in the direction of that blue line that you see there, where we're taking cold Rocky Mountain air out of the northwest, cold dry Rocky Mountain air, and that's pushing straight into the Arklatex here locally across the entire region. So that's what we have in for the day today. And overall, this dry, cold Arctic air remains in for us for the rest of the work week. But again, most of you are looking forward to a nice warming trend, and that is going to happen. Most of that will really start to spark up, especially a lot more here for the weekend. Weekends when we start to warm up a good bit, and it's mainly because we're bringing in winds out of the south, which come from the Gulf of Mexico, which not only bring us lots of moisture to provide us, yes, a chance of rain here for the weekend, which we will get to in just a little bit. We actually have the kind of a low-pressure system emerging out of the Gulf of Mexico that's moving northward from the winds that's actually giving us a chance of rain. We'll talk about that later. I'm getting too much into the chance of rain. But the point is, we're bringing up warm, moist air from the Gulf of Mexico. That's going to warm us up a lot here for the beginning half of next week. And we're almost running into T-shirt and shorts weather in the middle of next week, which will be nice, especially for those of you looking forward to more comfortable conditions and dragging back out those T-shirt and shorts. Meanwhile, we still have lots of cold to get through. Highs today, mid-30s. Again, keep in mind, take that with an asterisk, if you will, because we still have winds around 10 to 15 miles an hour coming out of the north, resupplying our Arctic cold air still for today alone. So our feels-like temperatures are most likely not even going to reach 30 degrees. Most of them are going to be in the mid to upper 20s here. And we'll actually get to that right now. Before I actually get into the future track, let's actually get into the future track of temperatures. So again, early this morning, we had blistery cold temperatures. Highs for the feels like temperatures only getting into the upper 20s here for this afternoon. Tomorrow morning, we do have a cold weather advisory in place again for your Friday morning. National Weather Service rarely issues those. Just goes to show you that the National Weather Service is tracking some of the coldest temperatures of all of winter so far. Now, for tomorrow morning, feels like temperatures go back down into the teens, maybe lower teens at that as well. But I will say it's progress because it is technically warmer than this morning that we just had. So hopefully it shouldn't be as bad. Will it still be absolutely cold? Yes. So, again, we're trending in the right direction, but it's still going to be too cold for you to maybe make that much of a difference for you, honestly. So yeah, to end off the work week, it's still another blistery cold morning that you got to get through here for tomorrow morning. And then you definitely see some good progress here in our high temperatures here for tomorrow, with feels like temperatures actually stretching into the mid to upper 30s. Still cold again, but warmer, trending in the right direction. By Saturday morning's lows actually only get down, I say only, but they get down into the upper 20s, lower 30s. Again, we're progressing in the right direction, but it's still cold. Future track, meanwhile. All right, let's track out into our chance of rain here for the weekend. For today, it's nice and sunny. For Friday, we build back in the cloud cover, and eventually that leads us into our next chance of rain, which will come on Saturday evening, it looks like. Most of this rain appears to be coming in around 6, 7 o'clock, and most of it, if you notice, is not even hitting the entire region. It's going to start in the southern half of the Arklatex, and it's almost going to end in the southern half of the Arklatex. Some rain may be creeping into areas around Mount Pleasant and northeast Texas, but I would not be surprised to see some areas of the Arklatex, specifically up north, on the northern side of the Arklatex, that don't even see rain at all from this weekend, which good for you. Meanwhile, for the rest of us, I'm expecting good amounts of rain showers. We're especially going to have more rain showers and greater rain chances in for those farther south in the Arklatex here for you. But that chance of rain will come through if you were paying attention to the time. That's going to come through between Saturday night and Sunday morning. Speaking of something on Saturday, we do have the crew of Centaur rolling on through Shreveport from downtown down the Clyde Fant Parkway, down further into the southern suburbs of town. Temperatures, again, thankfully, we're on a warming trend here for the next 7 days, which will be nice, which includes heading into the weekend. So thankfully, we're not dealing with highs in the 30s anymore into Saturday, but you're still going to need a jacket regardless. Highs are only going to get into the lower 50s, upper 40s So still chilly, but maybe not heavy coat weather per se. And then I will say, and then also, we do have that small chance of rain creeping in there for late Saturday. That's why I put a rain icon around 6, 7 p.m. because it could happen then. I'm only expecting a small rain chance for us on Saturday night. Honestly, I see greater rain chances specifically for Shreveport, mainly heading into Sunday morning. So hopefully the rain holds off, at least for the rest of parade time on your Saturday. I think especially for the beginning and bulk of the parade, it should be fine. But maybe heading to the tail end of it, you might run into a spotty rain shower or two. We'll see. So I want to call the weekend a washout by any means. I know you're a little scared because, yes, I do have a rain icon on both Saturday and Sunday, but it just goes to show, again, that we do have a chance of rain, and I am expecting the presence of rain overall within the Arklatex for both days. For Saturday, most of it's going to come at night, mainly between 7 to, say, midnight, essentially, in the Arklatex. So the bulk of the daytime on Saturday, you're fine, you're dry. As for Sunday, more scattered chances of rain showers, especially a little more rain showers creeping up northward towards Shreveport and areas just north of the I-20 corridor, but it looks like south of the I-30 corridor. The point is more persistent rain chances, a little more widespread rain around the Arklatex overall, and most of that's going to happen Sunday morning. I think we'll clear out by Saturday most of that happens Sunday morning. Most of that clears out by Sunday afternoon and evening, leading into a nice sunny start to the week next week on Monday and Tuesday. But let's look at the full, 7-day forecast. 36 here today. Again, a warming trend throughout the next 7 days. Highs are in the lower 50s here for the weekend. Highs are into the mid-70s. Yes, that is right. Mid-70s for the middle of next week for Tuesday and Wednesday. Not only that, our mornings, you'll be waking up to only down into the 40s and lower 50s, which would be great. As for the rain, again, watch out for that rain chance Saturday night. And most of it's going to come through, it looks like, on Sunday morning only. Besides that, nice 2 dry days here for today and tomorrow. Nice 2 sunny days to start off your work week next week on Monday and Tuesday. And then we run into that next chance of rain. Looks like for the middle of next week around Wednesday or Thursday. It happen either or at this point. We'll keep you first alert in the days ahead. The sooner we know more about this forecast. But man, that was a good long look at the forecast here. Thanks for watching. We're not done, though. We're going to go into more of a science explainer after this, actually. We're going to talk about wind, how it works. And, yeah, we're going to put on our scientific caps, I guess, so to speak. And I'll tell you exactly how wind works, how it functions, how another key fact of it is it's never ending as well. We're going to talk about why and leave you on that fact, and we'll come back after a 2-minute break. We'll see you after this. All right, welcome on back to the First Alert Weather Breakdown. Again, I'm meteorologist Evan Thompson. Thanks for the listening to the local forecast, tuning on in. Again, if you have any questions, YouTube is the way to contact me during this stream live. But we're going to go ahead and go into our exclusive content for today, which is mainly talking about the science of wind, how it works. It's an intriguing aspect because wind is actually one of those things that will never end. Like I said, never enough times. But you get the point. It's just something that we won't run out of, and it's an interesting aspect of storms because I know it's usually not on the forefront of everybody's mind weather-wise. You always want to know mostly about temperatures, how it feels like outside, and also what the current conditions are, which I want to know about too. But and usually the wind obviously stays calm for most of the time, but then it comes a lot more of a tricky aspect, especially when there's gusty winds coming afoot. So we're going to go into the science of how wind works, how it speeds up, slows down, that kind of thing in the ArcLaTex. So let's go into the science of it all. So we have this graphic here for you created. Overall, the main fact you need to know is that pressure is always trying to reach a state of equilibrium. And that's kind of the case in all of weather. We have high pressures and low pressures, which we'll talk about in a second. But essentially, our atmosphere wants to stay balanced. Just like you want to stay balanced on a balance beam, so does our atmosphere want to stay essentially balanced with its pressure rates and everything. And how it compensates for that is the wind. It's helping to push air into an area of lower pressure to help that pressure, so to speak, to catch up to areas of higher pressure, so to speak. So wind is formed, I'm going to go and read this off again. Wind is formed in an attempt to restore balance from differences in air pressure. So again, you're restoring the lower pressure areas by that wind moving toward areas of lower pressure because it wants it to even itself out, to increase the pressure of that lower pressure area, so to speak. In this case, you're looking at a can, essentially. Once the pressure is equalized, the wind will then stop because then the pressures are equal and there's no real way that the atmosphere needs to balance anymore. It's achieved that. But essentially, the greater the difference in pressure, the stronger the wind. That's definitely how it works. Because if you have a lower pressure value, that wind really wants to try to increase that pressure more and more to let it become a lot more stable in the atmosphere. So, again, just like with cans, this also works with the world and with the weather world, so to speak. You take a high pressure and a low pressure system. Wind always goes from a high to a low pressure system. Notice winds will always rotate around highs and lows, yes. Highs, they will always diverge out of those kind of systems, and they will move toward and circulate just like a kind of essentially a toilet. When like a toilet, the winds and not winds in the toilet, but water in the toilet. You know how it circulates when it flushes? It's the same concept, essentially. We have winds circulating around a low pressure center in weather, essentially. So if it's a weak high pressure and low pressure, then you have weak winds. But again, if we increase how much our pressure values are, then that's what forces much stronger winds. And one of the best examples of a strong low pressure system is a hurricane moving on forward. That's one of the most powerful low pressure centers in the world. That's why and that's why we always talk about winds with a hurricane and how strong winds are circulating around the hurricane. That's essentially how it works. Again, a hurricane is just a huge and powerful low pressure system, and essentially the lower the pressure, the stronger the winds are around it, trying to help it out, essentially, and help it to get back to be a higher pressure, get the atmosphere again back in equilibrium, helping that atmosphere to maintain balance on that balance beam, essentially. So that is how the wind works. Yeah. Have any questions? Let me know. YouTube. Again, that's the way to ask here. on the First Alert Weather Breakdown. Want to appreciate those of you watching, again, here for your Thursday. That's it for my episode. I'm just going to go ahead and go into a recap and look forward to next week. So again, we're talking about winds here locally. We had a good gust and good jet stream of Arctic air come into the Arctotex yesterday, and that's continuing to come in. That's why we are staying cold, way cold, into the region here locally. Thankfully, we warm up for the next 7 days, so you can enjoy t-shirt and shorts weather out right now. I've had, I think, somewhere in the park of 3 to 4 coworkers ask me, when's it going to warm up? When's it going to warm up? Next week. Next week, I promise you. You'll be back in t-shirt and shorts and thank me in the Arctotex. So, yeah. T-shirt and shorts weather, again, coming back out next week. Enjoy it. As for the First Weather Breakdown podcast, again, we will have no episode tomorrow. None. Again, we usually do for those of you new, we usually do every single weekday at 10:30. We rarely miss episodes unless something has absolutely come up, and that's the case, unfortunately, for tomorrow. There will be no First Alert Weather Breakdown podcast here for your Friday. We will be back on Monday, 10:30. Meteorologist CJ Cartledge will be the host of that episode. I will not even be back for that episode either. I am off work, actually, off that day. I will be back onto the First Alert Weather Breakdown on Tuesday for Monday's episode. I'm not going to lie. I haven't even determined what CJ is going to be talking about because I usually make my schedule on Friday, and I have time to do that tomorrow. But essentially, we're going to try to bring in more interviews next week and the following week as well. I already have a interview lined up for 2 weeks from now. We'll have another Met Chat next week. I'll make sure that happens. CJ will be on the podcast. That's actually pretty funny now I'm realizing. CJ's day is always Tuesday for being on the podcast for the first Alert with a Breakdown. So he'll be on 2 days in a row. So that'll be cool. But yeah, we'll be Tuesday. I can tell you that's CJ's day. We'll be going over a weather video with meteorologist CJ Cartledge. Then for Monday, not gonna lie, I gotta determine what the heck he's gonna be talking about here for next Monday. But trust me, I'll have something good for him. I'll have something good for him to talk about and go into detail with. But he'll be talking about certainly much warmer temperatures heading into the first part of next week. So he can deliver the good news, essentially. As for me, I'm meteorologist Evan Thompson. Thanks again for watching. Again, no episode tomorrow. We'll be back with the First Alert with a Breakdown Monday at 10:30. Whew, man. You have a great rest of your day. Enjoy your Thursday. Enjoy your Friday. And most importantly, enjoy your weekend. I'll be back. Well, I won't be back. I've gone into this, Evan. The First Alert with a Breakdown will be back Monday at 10:30. You be there, be square, and most importantly, be weather aware. Bundle up and stay warm. I will see you on Tuesday. First Alert with a Breakdown again, back on Monday. Have a great one. See you later.